All right, guys. Well, welcome to the team call. Thank you guys so much for being a part of this. And we have a special guest today. Jeffrey Armbruster is on. I'm excited to have Jeff as part of the training. We went to a men's event. Jeff gave a great speech, and I mean, just a phenomenal coach. I want to say, what rank are you, Jeff?
Currently, right now, I'm 7-star in my first. I am 3-star in my second. 2-star in my third, and then my wife is 2-star.
There you go. So, as it says, yeah, combine. He's going to give a little bit about himself, but just really quickly, we first officially met. It was down in Phoenix, right, at Tony Horton's fitness camp, long time ago, 2010, I believe it was.
It was 2010, January 2010.
Yep. So I've known Jeff for a while. Obviously, we're both Spartan fans, so we have that in common. And like I said, you guys, I wanted to bring him on to share his story of, you guys hear from me, you hear me talk all the time. So I wanted to bring somebody else on who's had actually, obviously, far bigger and deeper levels of success to really show you guys what this business can do. I mean, we talk about, how to help people with challenge groups and challenge packs and all those sort of things, but I really want to tie it all together today and show you guys what this business does on a financial level, so that you can take this and go, you know what? I do know somebody now. I know somebody who has accomplished big results and has seen things happen in their business that I know you guys are going to be floored to see. So, Jeff, I'm going to go ahead and mute myself, and you just fire away, buddy.
All right, guys and gals. The talk tonight is not necessarily like Nick says, is talk about. I don't want to talk about challenge pack sales. I don't want to talk about the stuff you can learn in the back office. The talk that I gave in Dallas that Nick heard and all of our men at the men's leadership event was basically where this business leads, where it goes. It's basically about what happens when you set goals, what happens when you get past your own bullshit excuses, right? What happens when you quit being, and I'm being the nicest, I'm not saying ASS, I'm saying ASK. When you quit being an asshole, asshole, and asking all these questions but not doing everything that your coach and your upline has helped basically put things together for you to be successful with, you don't do them. When you do them, when you put in 1 to 2 hours every single day in this business, like I did early on, it's more like 3 to 4 to 5 hours now. And some days I don't do squat because I've earned that right when I want to be with my family. But when you do the little things that your trainings, your upline trainings, the stuff you've learned from social media, when you do those little things, where does this business lead? Okay, just a little bit about myself. The thing that I'm most proud of here is the fourth item on that screen, the Financial Freedom Award winner. Okay, I was one of the very first ones. What does that mean? That basically means I'm totally debt-free because of this business. I have no house payment. I have no car payments. I have no credit card payments. The only thing that I have on a monthly basis are those pesky utility payments, for whatever that I need to use. And that's success to me, We're right over my shoulder here. We're putting up a 36 by 44 inch pole barn right now, stick built, not pole barn. And it all came from one fat check that I wrote because of this business. Put an addition on, the addition that I'm sitting in this house that I'm sitting in right now, paid that with cash. That's what this business leads to. It's not going to happen overnight. If you're one of those typical Americans who want success right now, remember the old 7-minute abs video way back in the day, all that crap that doesn't work. If you're waiting for instant success, this business isn't for you. It takes effort. It takes caring about other people's goals more than your own. And I say that because that's what this business is about. It's about giving a crap more about other people's goals, the people that you want to help lose the weight with, the coach you want to help hit a certain level in their business so they can get out of debt a little bit and make payments on time. When you care more about other people, good karma happens and your business will succeed. Your business will be better for it. So what this really is a financial freedom story, okay, where this basically leads. When you first start this business, this is what you're entitled to, okay? It's a comprehensive list of everything that you're entitled to and what the world owes you. It's zip, okay? You're owed nothing. You come into this because you love health and fitness, hopefully. You come into this maybe because Nick saw something in you guys that he thought was beneficial to having people like you around him. beneficial in the future for you when you gave a crap more about other people's goals and help them out. This just business will start to take care of itself. You start to become that person on Facebook that everybody knows as the fitness friend that they have in their list. You maybe start to become that person that people will ask questions about, how much water am I supposed to drink, when I'm trying to lose weight, this and that. You start off as that person, whatever that person is. But the reality is, over the course of time, over the course of one of my favorite words, I mentioned it on stage. Actually, if you remember, Nick, Mike Ryan said it before me. He brought it up, but it was something that was it's an important word in my life, is the word consistency. Consistency is everything in this business. And believe it or not, whether it's Trish or Josh on the call, you guys are all consistent. Every single one of you is consistent. But are you consistently good or are you consistently bad? That's the question. Every single one of us in life is consistent. And I urge you guys to write that one down and look at it every single day. Am I consistently good or am I consistently bad? At the very start, when it came to my own health and fitness, before I even joined Team Beachbody, I was consistently bad at most of the things I did. I was making bad food choices. I was not exercising. So I was making consistently bad choices. You see where I'm going with this? I was hanging around the wrong people. And I was realizing that my job was just not something that I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So I was making consistently bad choices of what I was doing in my own personal life to change my situation. Because the reality of it is, most of our careers should come with this scam alert, okay? Because most of us are in this position right now. We're working the 40-40-40 scam. We're giving 40 hours a week, okay, for 40 plus years of our life. And we're going to end up living on 40% of what we used to make in that 40 years that we worked. That's basically what America has taught us to be what we're supposed to do. And it's all bullshit. The 40-40 scam is BS. We are in I don't know if you guys listen or watch Gary Vaynerchuk at all. I'm addicted to the guy right now. But we live in a day and age right now where the internet has changed everything. The internet has given us the ability to reach out and touch somebody. Remember the old Michigan Bell? Reach out and touch somebody, right? But it's so easy to do. You can get on social media and be a power in almost so many different forums, whether it's Facebook or Instagram or the new one now that scares the hell out of me, but my daughter's teaching me, Snapchat. You can just be a power in so many different things. But everything that we have at our disposal right now helps you get rid of the scam alert. Okay, you don't want to be 35 years of your life gone and still working really hard to make somebody else's dreams come true. I remember Jason Debo, my coach, telling me, you can work your ass off and you're going to make somebody else's dreams come true, or you're going to work your ass off and you're going to make your own dreams come true over the course of building this business. And I built this business basically for 2.5 years while I was working 65 to 70 hours a week for AT&T. Now, I know that everyone's not in different positions. I was blessed in the sense that I was working from home for AT&T. So I don't know if anybody has home jobs or not, or has the ability to work from home, but I did. And I was double dipping. I'm the first to tell you I was double dipping when I wasn't on a conference call for AT&T or trying to fix something in the computer network on the account I was working. I was doing something in the background for my Beachbody business. I was doing something to help me build this part-time income that I was making until eventually, about 2.5 years into it, I had matched my income at AT&T. And it's crazy to think that 2.5 years of working as a Beachbody coach got me to the same point that took me almost 19 years to get at AT&T. That's how fast this business can build when you give a shit, when you honestly believe in it. 2.5 years, I got to the point where I was making the exact same thing every single week that I was making at AT&T. And you know what? I didn't quit. I didn't quit AT&T quite yet. I'm a very conservative person. I said, you know what? I'm going to keep double dipping. And it wasn't for another couple years before I finally did quit. And when I did finally become a full-time Beachbody coach, I was making between 4.5 and 5 times the amount I was making a week that I was making in 2 weeks at AT&T. Okay, so it's crazy to say that that is basically what happened over just part-time, a couple hours a day, sending people messages, following up with people, talking to people. But one of the biggest things people do is hide behind the computer all the time. You don't go out and actually go meet people. This business basically made me to do that. The other thing that this business leads to is the ability to, and this was a hard one for me to talk about. Nick saw me tear up a little bit in Dallas, but my mom last year was affected by something called encephalitis of the brain and meningitis of the brain. She basically went into a coma after being totally healthy. Just the very next day, just boom, it had built up to the point where her brain had swelled. She went into a coma for 30 days. I shouldn't say last year, it was the year before last. It was 2014. We were at leadership. Got a call, so I came home right away to find her in a coma. I was the only one in my family. My dad was still, punching the clock. He had to take off here and there during those 30 days to basically go work. My sister was working, but I had become a full-time Beachbody coach already. And I was able for the better part of those 30 days to be in that hospital almost every waking minute until she woke up, because I wanted to be there so she wasn't scared when she woke up and didn't know where the hell she was. I wanted to be there to be a familiar face. And because of this business, I was able to have the financial freedom for when life happens. So ask yourself, is your job going to give you an extended period of time off if shit happens and you have to do something similar in your life? You have to spend the month at a hospital. Are you going to be able to ask for that time off or give yourself that time off? Right now, probably no. God willing, it never happens to you. But if it does in 2 or 3 years or 4 years from now and you've built this business up for it, how cool is it going to be to have to ask for permission to go be with your family? I mean, that's the crappiest thing that you have to do in life, is ask for permission when something terrible happens to go be with your family. That's what this business gives you. Do you have a why too? This business also helps you set a why up in your life that basically is going to drive you to work this business. A why is everything in this business. And I'm sure Nick has talked about it in the past, or whether it's, your upline, you're in Doug's team, right? Doug Fitzgerald's upline, Nick? Or Tracy. Whether it's Tracy who's talked about it, Tracy's one of the most incredible coaches in this business. Whether it's, Nick with Tracy or her best friend, or one of her best friends, Doug Fitzgerald, is a big influence in my life. People like that taught me early on to have a strong why in this business. My why was my family, as you can see, right on the screen. Every single day that I didn't feel like putting those 2 hours in, I would look at my picture that I had downstairs of my family. I would look at a picture of my mortgage that I wanted to pay off because of this business, and it would drive me to stay up a couple hours extra at night when I was dog tired to do some prospecting, to do messages. I didn't talk about this on stage, Nick, but Jason and I used to have this thing when I was first building my business. We would lock ourselves in our basement. Okay, I would stay in my basement. He would go into his room when he was in Santa Monica. We would it wasn't Zoom back then, it was Skype. We didn't have Zoom. But we would get on Skype, and neither one of us would go to bed until we both signed a coach. We would do that several nights a week. We would stay up and say, the other person, just because one got one, the other one didn't get one, nobody went to bed until we signed a coach. So we would stay on Skype until we prospected enough and found somebody and signed a coach up. I signed up like that first year, like 45 coaches, my first serious year. 45 coaches, and I would say 30 of them came from those little contests he and I would do. So find a success partner that's going to push you to do something like that, but it'll all come back to my why. My why was my family. I wanted to be able to go on trips with them. I wanted to be able to do the Disney Soccer Academy like you're seeing in this picture. We're leaving Sunday again for that because of this business, being able to afford to pick my son up, put him on a plane, and go all the way to Disney for a soccer camp. It's one of the best in the country. And because of this business, I'm able to do things like that. So you have to have a strong why. And let me venture to even say that your why should make you cry. And that's not a cheesy metaphor. Your why should make you cry. If you're not getting emotional enough when you think about what this business could give you and what's driving you, you need to reset. You need to reset, figure out what's important to you in life. And someone told me the other day, they reverse engineered that. Their why made them angry. It had to do with their job. They had to do with punching that clock. It got them angry. And that's just as, I guess, being angry enough to cry is the same thing. But whatever works for you, whether it's something that you want to get out of or something you want to enjoy more of, this business gives it to you when you have a strong enough why. Who are you surrounding yourself with too? Before Beachbody, and I bet you Nick was the exact same way. Before Beachbody, I was going to the bar every single week, and I was hanging out with my overweight friends, and I was one of them too. And we were drinking, and we were eating chicken wings, and we were watching football games or baseball games or whatever. That was what I did in my time off when I wasn't spending it with my wife. And just like it says in the bottom left corner of that slide right there, you become the sum average of the 3 to 5 people you spend the most time with. So look, and I'm not asking people to, disown your friends or, if anything, one of the things I'm proud of is a few of my friends came along with me on this journey. Jason brought me along on this journey, and he and I had been friends since we were elementary school. So, look at who you're surrounding yourself with. Try to find, for right now, 3 to 5 new people who inspire you, have the same goals as you. Success partners are great for that. And spend more time around them. The coolest thing about this business is the people that I get to spend every single day / week with from my team, whether we're doing team calls, whether I'm volunteering to do a team call like I'm doing tonight for my good friend Nick. These are the people that I want to spend the most of my time with because they're inspiring. They inspire me to want to do more. Often when I get off these types of calls, I want to go downstairs and do something on my work computer to help me build my business a little bit deeper. So look who you're surrounding yourself with, because who you're surrounding yourself with is either going to bring you closer to your goal or bring you farther to your goal. And a lot of times the old friends of ours who are negative about what we're doing, and let's face it, family is usually the worst when it comes to being negative. Don't ever look at that as a reason or an excuse to stop, because reality is the people that hate on you, the people who are being negative towards you, are basically, I'm not going to say jealous, but they're, what's the word I'm looking for? They are scared of what you're doing, and you're going to better yourself, and you're going to leave them in the dust. I often tell my team this, that haters usually will laugh at you. They will mock you. They will tease you all before they freaking ask you what you're doing. Then they finally join you. I always like looking at a challenge of taking some of my haters and making them coaches. And some of them I have. Some of them I've turned some of my biggest detractors into some of my best coaches. So don't ever, basically, disown the haters. You never know. Be nice to them. Be there for them. Answer some questions when they do have it, because they will eventually they will have them. It also leads to checking off dreams. One of the coolest things that I can remember doing early on is making a list of all the things I wanted to accomplish with this business. One of the big things for me is that we wanted to become Disney Vacation Club members. Nick sees my bi-weekly posts where I'm at Disney, and some of my other friends always tease me about that. But that's a big part of my life. It's a big part of the things that we as a family like to indulge in. And I remembered early on, one of the things I wrote down was, in addition to paying off my house, I wanted to basically invest in Disney Vacation Club and own property for many years. And we were able to do that a while back. We basically bought Disney Vacation Club, Boardwalk. We own it till the year 2047, and it basically gives us 4 to 5 weeks of paid vacations every single year. And that was a big checking off item that I wanted to do. And I have several of them that were on there, but this business allows you to check off items that you want. And your items could be smaller. They could be paying off your car. They could be getting a new car. They could be, bill related, but they will continue to evolve as well. A good coach will continue to adjust their why and continue to add new things to check off as they move on with their business. And then where it leads, where this leads is a point where you don't have to worry about where the money's going to come from on a weekly basis. You don't have to live paycheck to paycheck anymore. It's a life where you call the shots. One of the things I always do on social media is I hashtag two very, and it's not just a metaphor again. It's not just a hashtag to me. It's a way of life to me. And I hashtag almost exclusively, almost all my pictures that have to do with this business. I'll hashtag design life and my life, my way. Because those two things mean so much to me. They are very important to me. Chances are, if you see that hashtag and you click on it, you're going to find some of my pictures in there, because it's something that's a way of life for me. Designed life basically means that I have designed a life that I get to call the shots in, whether it means something as big as going on a European vacation, which is something that was a big why for me right now, is taking my kids before they graduate out of school through Europe as a family. And we done half of that a couple years ago. We went to England and France. We're doing the other half next year for Italy and Germany. So that was a big reason for me. Or something small. whether it's just wanting to be able at 2:00 on a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon and pick up my kids from school. Small things can be just as big to some people. And that's something that's very big in my life, is being able to have the freedom and the time to do what I want. Most people who are punching a clock miss that. They miss the little things like going to sit down at the lunch table with your small child, 5, 6, 7 years old in grade school, and having lunch with them. Most people will miss a soccer game here and there, or a dance competition here and there, because they have to work. Those are things I didn't want to miss. We only allowed one time, one opportunity to raise your kids and spend as much time with them, right? So that was a big part for me. My life, my way just basically means I don't have to punch a clock, and I don't have to answer to another person other than my wife. But, my life, my way just basically means that I've designed a life that I get to be not just a witness of, but I get to be involved in. Most of us who don't do something for themselves, like a Beachbody business or a home-based business, ends up becoming a spectator or a witness to their life. They don't get to lead it because somebody else is calling the shots. You got to punch a clock. So those are things that I think are very important mindsets, if you want to call them. And to kind of close what I want to talk about, and then I'll allow Nick or anybody else to ask some questions here before I have to jump off. But one of the things I closed with was this slide right here. And most of you may or may not have heard the poem, that basically calls, living for the dash. And it's something that I think a lot of us have never really thought about if you've never seen the poem or heard the poem. But what you're seeing on the screen right now is a picture of a headstone, or a portion of a headstone. And all of us have been to, a cemetery for a loved one, or been there for a funeral. And, I never even thought about this until I started really getting serious about designing my own life and building my own business on the side. But I read this poem, or I saw this poem mentioned in one of my personal development books. Personal development is so important, right? You have to do it. If you don't have personal development in your life, it's kind of like showering. You don't shower every day, you tend to stink. And there's no different with personal development. And I remember reading this poem insert, which caused me to go research the whole poem. But it's basically about living for the dash. All of us have seen a headstone. You see the born year in the front left, and you see the death year on the far right. But nobody really stops to really recognize or understand what that dash means in between them. That dash is your freaking life, okay? That dash is everything you do in between. And I know when I die someday, I want my dash to glow on my headstone. I might even actually ask them to put a glow, some type of highlighted emphasis on my dash, because I want people to know that I freaking lived. Okay, I didn't exist. I didn't do the 40-40-40 thing and exist and have to work. What I didn't want to do, I don't want to work up until lunchtime on the day I die. Scheduled retirement on my lunch hour, and then I die right after. That's just not what I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to, and Nick heard me say this in Dallas, I wanted to arrive at the pearly gates. I wanted to knock on them, have St. Peter answer the gates, and before he lets me in, ask me, dude, what the hell happened to you? Your clothes are all battered, you're beaten up, you're dirty, and I want to look at him and say, I freaking lived. I lived every second. I didn't hold anything back. I done what I wanted to do, and I've arrived here with nothing left but a big smile on my face. I got nothing left to give. And that's what we all want. That's what I want for my coaches. I know that's what Nick wants for you guys. That's what I want for you guys. That's what Tracy wants for her team. You got to live for the dash. And how do you live for the dash? You do this thing on the side called Beachbody Coaching. You take it seriously. You attend all the calls that your upline has set up. You find a success partner, and you freaking get serious about having a call or two a week and calling each other out on their BS. And you live up to your goals. What's the coolest thing about having a success partner is them riding your butt. I don't want to get on a call with her and tell her I didn't do something. My success partner is Amanda Dewey. She's good friend of mine, and she will ride me like crazy and tell me, you said you were going to do this and you didn't do this. That's what a good success partner should do. So guys, that's what this whole emphasis of what Nick wanted me to talk about was basically where this leads. But where this leads has to start with the mindset. It has to start with believing in yourself and believing in this business, because we're not selling purses. We're not selling lotions. We're not selling candles. We're not selling whatever the thing is that your wife would get an invitation for and you would pray like hell there was something going on that day so you didn't have to go. We are selling a way of life. Okay. Every time you open your mouth, you're giving somebody the gift that you're going to help them get healthy, which in turn may change their not only life or physically, but financially down the road. And every time you don't open your mouth because you're afraid of hearing a little word called no, every time you don't open your mouth, you're stripping somebody else of the possibilities that you've been given to you. So don't ever hesitate about talking to somebody. That's crap. One of the biggest things that people do or reasons why they don't open their mouth and talk to somebody is because they're afraid of hearing no. How many of you guys have kids? Raise your hands. Okay. How many of you guys are married? Raise your hands. Really? No kids, no married?
I got one on the way.
Okay, well, you got one on the way. That's good. How many of you guys have good friends or parents, no shouldn't be anything to you. If you're married and have kids, you hear no all the damn time. If you have a job, you hear no all the damn time. So hearing no from somebody that they don't want to buy a challenge pack right now or don't want to do Shakeology this moment, no just means not right now in this business. I learned a long time ago that no and what we do means not right now. It's not their time. The equation doesn't quite fit into their life yet. Don't burn a bridge. Stay awesome. Let me know when you are ready. I'm always going to be here, and watch when that person comes back, because they will. They're going to be watching you to see how serious you are. And when they consistently see you are serious, you're doing the little things, they'll come back. This business is a numbers game too. It's on how many people you talk to. If you're talking to 2 to 3 people a month, you got to remember, and I don't know if Tracy or Nick has talked about this, but network marketing, what we do, you're anywheres. If you're successful, that means you're in that 10 to 20 to 30% range, meaning you hear no 70% of the time, even as for a successful coach. So if you're talking 2 to 3 people a month, that means about, once every several months, you're going to get a yes at a 10% effectiveness rate. But if you're doing like what I do, and I know Nick's doing and Tracy's doing, I talk to 2 to 3 new people a day. Okay, take time. Let's just say it's 2 people a day. You times that by 30 days, that's 60 people that I'm talking to a month. And if I'm 10% effective, that means I'm getting anywhere from 6 to 7 to 8 new customers or coaches a month, because it's a game of numbers. It's in how many people you talk to. If you're talking to 2 to 3 people a month, you need to change that. You need to talk to 2 to 3 people a day. And don't give me the crap or excuse you can't do that, because social media puts everybody at your disposal. That doesn't mean you have to show this opportunity, coaching opportunity, to 2 or 3 new people a day. Doesn't mean you have to sell a challenge pack to 2 or 3 new people a day. It means you have to add 2 to 3 new people to your social network every single day. How hard is that? It's not hard at all. Go to Facebook, type in the search bar at the top some of the things that you're also into besides coaching. Me, it's Disney, Michigan State, like you mentioned, or Lincoln Park. I go to those groups I call them passion groups on Facebook, and I go in those groups to decompress, to talk about my favorite things in life. And what happens from those groups? People will add me as a friend, or I'll add them as a friend based on the conversations and getting to know people talking about those things that I love. And now that I'm Facebook friends with them, all of a sudden, my about 1 in every 5 posts I make on social media is about health, fitness, Beachbody. Now those people from those passion groups, because we're now Facebook friends, are seeing my stuff pop up in their news feed, and that's going to lead to more people. So I don't want to hear excuses that there's not enough people out there, not enough time in the day. It's you getting past your own excuses and putting an hour a day into this business. It's not hard to build. This business is kindergarten level. Any of you guys can do this. That's all I got, Nick.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Jeff. Well, I know you have to go, so I apologize. If you guys have questions, here's what I want you guys to do. Send it to me or post in the group, and then I can maybe shoot it over to you, Jeff, if that's cool, and you can just kind of give a quick answer or something, because I know you got to get rocking and rolling. But I appreciate it, buddy. Always appreciate the time. Thank you so much. I'm going to end the recording here, you guys. Thanks for joining us.